The cameras flashed. The crowd completely froze. And just like that, Hollywood had a brand new absolute obsession.
It really was like flipping a switch, wasn't it?
Oh, completely overnight. Welcome to Starscope Report. Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
And, we have got a truly fascinating deep dive for you today.
We really do. We are jumping straight into the heart of a phenomenon that has, totally rewired the entertainment industry. We're talking about the biological realities, the viral controversies, and the extreme lengths people go to for the perfect image.
Exactly. And the headline we're looking at today, which has been everywhere, is "The Drug That Took Down Kris Jenner. Her Ozempic Nightmare Explained."
Right. And our mission today is to unpack the hard science behind why the world's most famous weight loss drug completely failed the 70-year-old Kardashian-Jenner matriarch.
Which is wild to think about.
Totally wild.
Yeah.
But more importantly, we want to decode the hyper-customized, wildly expensive biological regimens that ultra-wealthy are pivoting to instead.
Yeah, this stuff coming out of the recent entertainment and news reports is it's eye-opening.
It is. We're drawing our insights today from TMZ, Variety, and specifically Jenner's highly candid admissions on the SHAMD podcast. Plus, her recent appearances on Chloe in Wonderland and that big interview with Vogue Arabia.
The premise itself is just a fascinating collision of, unlimited resources and biological limits.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, imagine being a woman who manages a global family empire, someone who literally has access to the absolute best medical care on planet Earth.
Right, whatever money can buy.
Exactly. You try the most celebrated miracle drug of the decade, and it just completely incapacitates you. The physiological reaction here gives us a really revealing look at what happens when a massive cultural trend just hits the brick wall of individualized human biology.
That's such a good way to put it. Let's pull the curtain back on that immediate fallout, because Jenner recently sat down on the SHAMD podcast, which is hosted by her longtime OBGYN, Dr. Tice Aliabadi, and Mary Alice Haney.
Right. She's very close with Dr. Aliabadi.
Very close. And she revealed she tried Ozempic very early on. In her words, when no one knew what it was.
And the result was pretty much a disaster, wasn't it?
An absolute disaster. Her exact quote is incredibly stark. She said, quote, "I can't work anymore. I can't. I'm so sick. I can't." Nauseous.
Wow.
Yeah. The side effects was so overwhelming, she immediately called Dr. Aliabadi to halt the treatment entirely.
Well, and the medical context behind that reaction is it's crucial to understand. So Ozempic is the brand name for semaglutide.
Okay.
It belongs to a class of medications called GLP-1 receptor agonists. Now, these were originally developed and approved for managing type 2 diabetes and, reducing cardiovascular risk.
But they became this massive cultural phenomenon because they're used off-label for weight loss.
Exactly. And they require a really significant financial commitment. I mean, without insurance, patients are paying anywhere from $900 to $1,400 a month.
Which is wild. But money clearly wasn't the barrier for Jenner. The barrier was the severe physical toll. I mean, she experienced intense, debilitating nausea and fatigue.
Yeah, and if you look through the clinical trials for GLP-1 medications, these gastrointestinal issues like nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, they're incredibly common.
Especially in the beginning, right?
Right, particularly during the initial dosing phases. But the literature also points to much more severe risks, things like pancreatitis, severe dehydration, and gallbladder problems.
Jenner's experience really mirrors a very dark side of the GLP-1 craze that is just sweeping through Hollywood. We've seen a massive spectrum of reactions across the entertainment industry.
The whiplash is intense.
It really is. I mean, Amy Schumer tried it and reported nausea so severe she was practically bedridden. She publicly stated she physically couldn't even play with her son.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, it led her to stop the medication entirely. And then Sharon Osbourne took it, lost a significant amount of weight, but then went on the record saying she felt she'd become too gaunt.
Right. She actually struggled to regain the weight after that.
Exactly. And Rebel Wilson, right alongside Chelsea Handler, reported really nauseous or mixed outcomes. They ultimately decided the physical cost just wasn't sustainable.
But then on the flip side of that same coin, you have figures like Meghan Trainor, Tracy Morgan, Kathy Bates, and Whoopi Goldberg.
Right.
And they've openly credited GLP-1 medications, whether it's Mounjaro or Ozempic, for dramatic positive results when they paired it with lifestyle changes. So the intervention is just highly variable from patient to patient.
Here is where I kind of have to pause and challenge the core concept of these medications, though.
Okay, lay it on me.
Taking Ozempic, for someone like Kris Jenner, sounds like pulling the emergency brake on a high-speed train.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
Right. Because if her body and her legendary work ethic are this unstoppable machine, the drug just forced a total system shutdown.
Yeah, it grounded her.
So why does a drug that is literally prescribed to make a human being healthier completely incapacitate someone's day-to-day functioning? I mean, if it's just making you eat less, shouldn't you just feel a little hungry or tired rather than violently ill?
Well, the answer lies in the deep biology of how GLP-1 agonists actually operate within the body. They don't just reduce your appetite, they fundamentally alter your digestive mechanics.
How so?
Well, one of the primary ways they work is by significantly slowing down gastric emptying.
Meaning, like, the physical speed at which food leaves your stomach and enters the intestines.
Precisely. The medication forces food to remain in your stomach much, much longer than normal.
Okay.
And this prolonged stretching of the stomach sends continuous signals through the vagus nerve to your central nervous system.
Basically telling your brain that you are completely full.
Exactly. So biologically, your digestive system is brought to a crawl, and your central nervous system is being bombarded with these intense satiation signals. The combination just takes a massive toll on your overall energy reserves.
So your brain is receiving a chemical command to hibernate, essentially.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
You aren't taking in new fuel, but your body is still using energy, trying to process what's been sitting in your stomach for hours or maybe even days.
Right, and that delayed gastric emptying is the exact trigger for the profound nausea Jenner described. When you combine a sudden drop in caloric intake with essentially intense gastrointestinal paralysis.
That high-speed train is going to derail.
Exactly. The patient experiences severe fatigue because the cellular machine isn't being fueled, and the mechanical system feels violently ill. The brain literally interprets that delayed digestion as a potential toxin or illness.
Oh, wow.
Which is what manifests as nausea. This is why the protocol requires strict medical supervision, usually starting at a microscopic dose of around 0.25 milligrams weekly and very slowly ramping up over months.
But even with infinite resources and top-tier doctors, the biology of gastric emptying simply rejected her.
It did.
But, someone running $1 billion empire doesn't just accept fatigue and give up.
No, definitely not.
They find a loophole. And her loophole highlights a massive shift happening in high-end wellness right now.
And that is not even the wildest part, right?
No, it's not. Because Jenner completely abandoned the blockbuster weight loss drug and transitioned into this hyper-customized biological ecosystem.
She moved from a blunt, systemic chemical intervention to a highly targeted, data-driven approach.
Yeah. After quitting Ozempic, Jenner and Dr. Ali Abadi started exploring alternative. And they eventually landed on a regimen that Jenner described on the podcast as a total game changer.
I love that phrase.
Right. She pivoted to peptide injections, paired with a very strict, highly monitored supplement protocol.
Yeah, and the sources mention she specifically works with a physician she refers to as Dr. Ray.
Yep.
He helps her incorporate high-quality fish oils, omega-3s, and targeted amino acids.
And the results she claims are honestly staggering. I mean, she said this new routine bought her an extra couple hours at night.
Which, for Kris Jenner, is huge.
Huge. Instead of hitting a physical wall and completely collapsing after her last email or her final phone call or a dinner with her family, she maintains sustained energy.
And she also noted visible improvements to her hair, her skin, and her nails.
Yeah. But the detail that really stands out to me is her monitoring schedule. Every 90 days, she has her blood drawn.
Oh, every 3 months.
Every 3 months. She is doing full, comprehensive panels to monitor her thyroid and her hormone levels. She actually stated she realized this level of data collection was vital for physical health after she turned 45.
The sheer volume of biological data she is collecting on herself is the defining characteristic of this new wave of elite wellness.
I do need to push back hard on this, though.
Okay, let's hear it.
We are talking about peptides, which currently sounds like the ultimate Beverly Hills snake oil to me.
It does sound a little buzzwordy.
Right. Is this just the new wealthy elite buzzword replacing the old one? I have a hard time believing a couple of injections can magically generate 2 extra hours of stamina a day.
Yeah.
Is this genuinely science-backed, or are we just looking at, the placebo effect for billionaires who are paying for the illusion of control?
Well, it is a critical distinction to make, and it requires separating med spa marketing from actual molecular biology.
Fair enough.
So to understand if it's a placebo, we have to define what peptides actually are. Put simply, Peptides are short chains of amino acids.
Okay.
And amino acids are the fundamental building blocks of proteins in the human body. When you chain a few of them together, they act as highly specific signaling molecules.
What do you mean by signaling molecule?
They basically bind to receptors on the surface of your cells and act like a password, telling the cell to perform a very specific function like producing more human growth hormone, accelerating mitochondrial repair, or reducing joint inflammation.
Oh, I see. So unlike the Ozempic approach, which affects the entire central nervous and digestive system, this is much more isolated.
Exactly, that is the biological advantage. A GLP-1 agonist is essentially a loud megaphone shouting at your entire body to shut down digestion and appetite.
Right.
Peptides, when customized correctly, are targeted whispers to specific cellular processes. They bypass the gut entirely. They don't slow down gastric emptying, which is why they don't trigger that debilitating nausea.
But that targeting only works if you know exactly which passwords your specific cells need.
Which explains the quarterly blood draws. You can't whisper to the cells if you don't know what they're lacking.
That makes total sense. And if you are loving these Hollywood twists, by the way, make sure you subscribe. We've got even crazier stories ahead.
We really do. And, you know, the clinical supervision is the only reason this peptide thing isn't just a fad. Drawing full blood panels every 90 days, constantly balancing hormones, checking thyroid function. This is a highly monitored, individualized medical ecosystem.
It's a full-time job.
It is. True preventative health and biological optimization at this level requires continuous data collection. You can't just walk into a clinic, buy a generic peptide pen, and expect to gain 2 hours of stamina.
Right. It requires an entire medical team tracking your biomarkers year-round to adjust the amino acid chains as your body changes.
Exactly.
Think about the last time you went to a primary care doctor for an annual checkup. You probably got a standard lipid panel, a blood pressure check, and a pat on the back.
If you're lucky.
Right. Compare that reality to drawing blood 4 times a year to custom mix your amino acids based on how your thyroid performed that specific quarter. It's an entirely different universe of medical care.
It is. But we also have to maintain some objective distance here because while the science of peptide signaling is real, these highly aggressive anti-aging interventions are still heavily debated in the broader medical community.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, many of these custom peptide stacks do not have the decades of clinical trial safety data that FDA-approved drugs possess. It is experimental biology driven by unlimited capital.
But this level of aggressive, hyper-monitored biological control doesn't stop beneath the skin. And if you think that level of control is intense, wait till you hear what came next with the tabloids.
Oh, the tabloid drama.
Yes. Because if you're tracking your thyroid every 90 days to optimize your internal engine, you're just as fiercely managing your outward appearance. Jenner didn't just talk about what she's putting into her bloodstream. She was incredibly vocal about what she's doing to her face.
And this is where we see her masterfully controlling her own media narrative.
Her internal optimization and external aesthetic are managed with the exact same philosophy of absolute control. We saw this play out perfectly during her recent appearance on her daughter's Chloe in Wonderland podcast.
Oh, right, the 2025 facelift rumors.
Exactly. Jenner used that platform to address rumors about a facelift she had in 2025. The tabloids had been running wild with stories claiming she hated the results, that the surgery was botched, and that she was furious with her surgeon, Dr. Stephen Levine.
But she unequivocally dismantled those rumors on the air?
Oh, she shut it down. Her quote left zero room for interpretation. She said, quote, "It's a flat-out lie. I love my facelift. I adore my doctor. I'm obsessed with him."
The deliberate choice to name her surgeon and loudly defend the procedure signals a massive cultural shift.
Yeah. She has been building this specific philosophy for years. In a previous interview with Vogue Arabia, she discussed her concept of aging gracefully. She argued that getting older doesn't mean giving up on yourself.
I remember that.
Her exact perspective perfectly encapsulates her brand. She stated, quote, "If you feel comfortable in your skin and you want to age gracefully, meaning you don't want to do anything, then don't do anything. But for me, this is aging gracefully. It's my version."
It's my version. That phrase really defines the modern era of celebrity wellness.
The paradox here is absolutely fascinating to me. We are looking at a woman who is radically candid about a weight loss drug experience that made her violently ill, and she's just as candid about going under the knife for a facelift.
Right.
If we rewind to the late 90s or early 2000s, a celebrity of her stature would have denied both to the grave.
Oh, absolutely.
We all remember the era where pop stars and actors attributed their perfect faces to, like, drinking lots of water and their sudden weight loss to doing a little extra yoga.
Oh, the just olive oil and good sleep era.
Exactly. So what does this aggressive transparency actually say about where celebrity culture is heading?
Well, I think it reveals the death of the celebrity denial era. We have completely moved away from the illusion of effortless perfection.
That makes sense.
Effortless perfection used to be the ultimate status symbol. If you had to work for it or pay for it, it wasn't glamorous. Today, the currency has totally changed. We're in the era of curated medical transparency. Effort and optimization are the new status symbols.
The maintenance itself is the flex.
Yes.
The message isn't just look how young I look. The message is look how young I look because I have the immense wealth, the discipline, and the private medical team to optimize every single cell in my body, and I'm going to publish the blueprint.
And by explicitly naming her doctors, Dr. Aliabadi, Dr. Levine, Dr. Ray, and by detailing her exact blood test schedules and her peptide regimens, Jenner neutralizes tabloid speculation by becoming her own primary source of medical reporting.
Wow, yeah.
A tabloid cannot accuse her of hiding a botched surgery if she goes on a family podcast and praises the surgeon by name. The paparazzi cannot accuse her of secretly abusing Ozempic if she publicly broadcasts that it made her too sick to function.
She is turning her own biology into a heavily fortified branch of her empire.
It is a masterclass in taking the power back from the rumor mill and bringing it entirely in-house.
Watching a 70-year-old woman redefine the biological limits of aging while running a global business is wild. But it also forces us to rethink everything we are being sold about health.
It really does.
Let's synthesize the biggest takeaways from these sources for you to carry forward. First, the Ozempic and GLP-1 craze is not a universal magic wand. The deep biology of gastric emptying and vagus nerve signaling can completely derail your day-to-day functioning, regardless of how much money you have in the bank.
Very true. And second, the frontier of elite health is rapidly abandoning blockbuster one-size-fits-all drugs. The ultra-wealthy are moving toward highly customized, closely monitored ecosystems.
Right.
Targeted peptide therapies and comprehensive quarterly hormone tracking treat the human body like a finely tuned machine, but they require a level of clinical supervision that standard healthcare simply does not provide.
And finally, the concept of aging gracefully has been entirely rewritten. Kris Jenner's version involves 2025 facelifts and bespoke amino acid chains, and she is owning that narrative with a radical transparency that kills tabloid rumors on contact.
Which is brilliant.
Yeah.
But that same transparency brings up a really complex reality about the future of human health.
Which leaves us with a final provocative thought for you to explore on your own. We started this deep dive talking about a red carpet obsession, a flash of cameras capturing a sudden shift in how everyone looked. But as we enter this new era, where celebrities act as their own public medical case studies, flaunting ultra-expensive regimens like custom peptide stacks and 90-day blood panels as the right way to age, will the health and wellness gap between the ultra-rich and the average person soon become just as stark and just as visible as the wealth gap?
That's a chilling thought.
If cellular biology itself becomes something you can simply buy and upgrade, what happens to society when only a fraction of the world can afford the subscription?
It pushes the conversation far beyond Hollywood gossip, touching on the fundamental equity of human longevity.
It really does. And stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next as we keep tracking these shifts.
Absolutely.
You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.